In this example, we're going to be working with cube roots or third roots. So right now we have the third root of 4x times the third root of 6x to the second power. So we don't have any outside numbers, which is fine. I'm just going to multiply the inside part. So I'm just going to multiply right away. So inside is 4x times 6x to the second power. I'm going to have 24x. Since we're multiplying with the same base, I'm going to add the exponent, so x to the third. Inside the cube root or the third root. Next, I want to try to simplify this. So first I'm going to break the number and the variable apart. Now remember that you're working with the third root, the cube root. So make sure you have that 3 so that you don't forget. Again, don't want to mix up between third root, cube root versus square roots. Again, when we're working with third roots, we use a different set of numbers and the exponents. Now for the 24, since we're working with third roots, so we're going to be using perfect cube numbers. So the perfect cube numbers for 24 would be 8, so the cube root of 8, times the cube root of 3. Now for the cube root of x to the third power, 3 can go in 3 as a whole number, so you can actually simplify this and it will become x to the 1 power. Now let's go back to the numbers. The cube root of 8 is just 2. And then you can't simplify nor do the cube root of 3, so you're just going to bring it down. And then I'm going to bring down the x to the 1 power. So we're just going to put the outside number and the x because they're without radical. So we're going to have 2x. And then I'm going to put this behind, so it's going to be the cube root or the third root of 3. So that's going to be my final answer. It's very identical to the process of multiplying with square roots, but again, when working with cube root or third roots, we're going to be using a different set of numbers. In this example, we have 4 cube root of 12b to the 7th power times cube root of 4b to the 4th power. Now, what I forgot to mention in the last example is that when we multiply, we want to make sure that we have identical index. So, in the previous section, when we're multiplying with square roots, you can only multiply if you're multiplying with same index, square root with square root. Here, we're going to multiply with cube root. If you have different index, so say this was 3 and this was 4, then you can't multiply them. There's a certain procedure that you have to do in order to get same index, which we're not going to do here. It's just a little review. Make sure that you have the same index. If you do, then you can continue multiplying. If not, you got to do a certain procedure to get same index. Just make sure to take note of that. Now here, we have that invisible 1, so I'm going to multiply the outside number, which is just 4. Then I'm going to multiply the inside. So 12 times 4, that's 48. I'm going to have b, so b to the 7th power times b to the 4th power. Same base, I'm going to add the exponent, which is 11. All inside the cube root. So after that, we're going to see if we can simplify, which we can. So I'm going to separate the 48 and the b. So I'm going to have the cube root of 48 times the cube root of b to the 11th power with the 4 outside. Alright, next I'm going to break down the 48 where 1 is a perfect cube number. So for 48, I'm going to use 8. So the cube root of 8 times the cube root of 6. Next, I'm going to work with the variables. So 3 cannot go in 11 as a whole number. So if I take 1, I'm left with 10. 3 won't be able to go into 10 as a whole number. So instead of taking 1, I'm going to take 2 away from 11. That means I'm going to have 9 left. So 3 can go in 9 as a whole number. So first I'm going to write b to the 9th power inside the cube root times b to the 2nd power. That's how much I took away from 11. And then don't forget, we still have that 4 outside. Alright, so let's go back to the numbers. The only one that I could do the cube root of is the 8 because it's a perfect cube number. So the cube root of 8 is 2. You cannot do the cube root of 6 nor simplify, so I'm just going to bring it down. Now let's work with the b's. This one right here, the cube root of b to the 9th, the index 3 can go into 9 3 times. So I'm going to write b to the 3rd power. Now this one, 3 cannot go into 2 as a whole number, so I'm just going to bring down what I have here. So the cube root of b to the 2nd power. And don't forget, I still have that 4 outside. And it's multiplying. Alright, so everything that's without the radical, I'm going to combine it together. And then the ones with the radical, I'm going to combine that and put it in the in or in the back. So 4 times 2 times b to the 3rd power will be 8b to the 3rd. Then the ones with the radicals, I'm going to put it together as 1. So 6b squared inside the cube root, so make sure you have your index. So my final answer is 8b to the 3rd root, or the cube root of 6b to the 2nd power. And let me box that up. So here is my final answer. And then, as a reminder, we can only multiply radicals if they have the same index. If not, then there is a certain procedure in order to change them, but make sure that they are the same index.